Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is the 52nd part of What If Deku Was a Magical Girl Mascot. Quirk, Magical Girl Mascot. The author of this great fanfic is Emma Ively. Links to them and original story in the description. Chapter 52, Final Battle, New Beginning. Many in the group were gaping at Katsuki after what she just did. All of them had figured out that All Might was not going to all out as long as they were there. They would just get in the way. But then Katsuki pulled this and, well. Kaken. We have to get out of here. Mentally yelled Izuku. You seriously don't want revenge on this bastard? Asked Katsuki. That's not important. Thought Izuku, though his emotions were pushing through. It was clear to everyone that he did, but considering everything he knew he couldn't. Even with this power up, we need to leave. Pointed out Inko. They're right. Thought All Might. That scream. Thought Katsuki. It wasn't one of pain, he just told me something I wasn't prepared for. Explained All Might. Sure you weren't. Responded Katsuki. You're the only one who wants to fight him. Thought Tsuyu. You think I'd buy that? Mentally yelled Katsuki. What Tsu means is that we're all being rational and not wanting to fight him. Added Tenya. Will you all shut up? Mentally yelled Katsuki, it's not like he's going to let us leave. Everyone became silent when that was said. That bastard will probably just drag us back if we try to get away. Mentally muttered Katsuki. The others in the telepathic link realized she was right. Thanks to that warping quirk, there was a good chance that he would use them as some sort of shield. So what do we do? Asked Toru. Well, for one thing, I think we should protect the people around us. Thought Izuku. Wait, what? Asked Achiko. Holy shit! Yelled Katsuki out loud. Indeed, there were a few people nearby in the wreckage of buildings. I thought you all noticed. Thought Izuku. All Might sighed at this. This whole thing is a mess. Thought All Might. We also need to make sure that Deku doesn't switch quirks or is forced into stuffed toy mode, because that's what's powering us right now. Thought Katsuki. Izuku sighed when his longest partner said that. So the plans are to help those nearby, protect Izuku and back up All Might if we can. Thought Tenya. The others all agreed. You know, it's rude to plan these things without telling me. Muttered Gran Torino. Oh, sorry. Said Izuku. So you figured out that he'd just drag us back here if you tried to run away? Said Gran Torino. You figured it out? Asked Izuku. I wasn't sure if any of you would figure it out, so I didn't say anything. Said Gran Torino. Melissa, who was nearby, sighed. So he's like that all the time? Mentally asked Tsuyu. He is. Confirmed Melissa. All Might watched one for all as the others knew what roles they had to play in this. He had to figure out the right power level for beating his nemesis while making sure the others in the group didn't get hurt along with nay bystander. I take it you created a brand new battle strategy. Said one for all, but let's see if it works. All Might scowled. She sent out an extremely powerful punch towards her nemesis that created a windstorm. All for one was sent flying, but it was clear he recovered. You have so much power overflowing through you, yet you. Said All for one. But he was cut off by suddenly being encased by a gigantic glacier. Really, young Todoroki? Asked All Might. Shoto, who was now standing next to Katsuki, shrugged. It was clear that Shoto was going to act as backup too. All Might sighed at this. Look, I have to help fight him too, said Shoto, and it's not because of Izuku. Really, what's the reason? Asked Katsuki. You should know. Said Shoto. Katsuki was about to say something, but then he remembered that this was the guy who gave All Might the injury, one that would have eventually made him retire had Izuku not healed him. All Might heard this and grimaced. Remember only to act as backup. Said All Might. Shoto nodded. At the same time Achiko and Inko both got to the trapped woman. Inko and Achiko easily lift up the debris. "Are you okay?" asked Achiko. "I'm pretty sure I'm hallucinating after what happened with All Might," said the woman. "You mean him turning into a magical girl?" asked Achiko. "Yeah," sighed the woman. "No, that's actually happening," said Achiko. "Oh yeah, there's a magical girl mascot kid that got kidnapped, wasn't there?" asked the woman. "Yeah," sighed Inko. "Weird," said the woman. "I know," said both Inko and Achiko. At the same time Melissa discovered what a glowing glove did, create a computer. With it she was able to see if there were anyone alive nearby. "I found someone else close by," said Melissa. "Okay," said Achiko, going to go as she and Inko were on the rescue operations. Gran Torino was watching Melissa. "So?" he said. "I know it's weird," said Melissa. At the same time Izuku sighed. He knew that he had a bodyguard squad at the moment. It consisted of Ida, Tsuyu, and Toru. Toru was really the odd one out of the moment. "Hey, it's okay, you don't have to put on a brave front right now," said Toru. "You were kidnapped and held for days, Izuku," said Tenya. "I know, but we're not out the woods yet," said Izuku. They would ask why, had it not be for the explosion of the glacier. Back with the fight, All Might stood ready to go another round, while adjusting the power level. Hoping it would be enough to take out All for One while not harming anyone around them. "It's been a long time since I had to break out of a glacier," said All for One. All Might scowled and launched herself at All for One with a harsh punch. And several more rash punches that sent the heavily scarred man flying. However, the scared man was able to quickly recover and head toward All Might. All Might grimaced at the man. "So still holding back?" asked All for One. All Might didn't answer. "That's a really shame because," said All for One. All Might duck. Mentally called out Katsuki. All Might got out of the way as Katsuki sent out another explosion at the man. All Might barely dodged as it was massive. "I love these things," laughed Katsuki. All Might could only sweat drop at the girl. "Look, now's not the time to be focused on that," said Shoto. Katsuki scoffed. All Might looked at his nemesis was recovering from the attack. "How long do you think your little friend will be able to channel that quirk into all of you?" asked All for One. "I bet he's starting to get tried." "Hey Deku, you getting tired?" mentally asked Katsuki. "No, why?" responded Izuku. "No reason," thought Shoto. "You know it's a terrible idea to bluff about something we can easily get the answer to," mocked All Might. All for One gritted his teeth. All Might took advantage of that reaction and delivered a punch so hard that a pillar of air rose and the clouds parted. All Might smiled after that. She should have known keeping it compact should have been the way to go even with everyone around. She looked at her nemesis and saw that he seemed to be fine and she grimaced. "What sort of quirks do you have?" she asked. "Do you really want to know?" asked All for One. Izuku of course was watching the fight at the distance. No. He thought, there has to be something else he can do. However, as he was still connected with the quirk, he ended up sending another power through the connection. That was when there was a bright flash of light coming from each gem, and suddenly all of the wands appeared. It should be pointed out that Inko had a green handle while on top was a glittering pink heart. Melissa's had a blue handle while on top was a strangely shaped light blue crystal that almost looked like it could change shape for some reason. While All Might's had a gold handle while on top was a blue and red eagle. "This hasn't happened before," thought Katsuki. "We kind of figured that," thought Tsuyu. "What does it mean though?" thought Tenya. "I think we all know what it means," realized Katsuki. Everyone's sweat dropped, except for Toru, who giggling. She was a magical girl fan after all. I should have known this was going to happen one day. Mentally sighed Katsuki. You mean fighting against a great evil as a team while we use a final attack? Asked Toru. This is serious. You shouldn't be enjoying this. Mentally yelled Tenya. I know. Sighed Toru. Oh, how quaint. Mocked All for One, you really. He was cut off mid-sentence as he was once again encased in giant glacier. You know he'll probably get out quicker than before. Said All Might. I know, but it should give us enough to set up the attack. Said Shoto. All Might nodded. She never expected this would be how All for One was defeated once and for all. But hopefully it should work. All of the others joined in, with Izuku going over to Gran Torino in case they needed to jet, pun unintended. And the group gathered ready. Wait, I just realized something. Said Inko. Considering everything, I think it will count as me giving permission. Said All Might. Tenya breathed a sigh of relief. As the glacier started to crack, all of them felt it. All of them started to glow their respective color. Just as One for All broke through the ice. Each one of them shot out a colored beam from their wands. The beams of orange, green, light pink, dark green, lavender, sky blue, silver, blue and gold all combined into a brilliant rainbow and slammed into the villain. Wop could only scream as the combined attack hit him. Everyone that was rescued, Gran Torino and Izuku, were all amazed. Everyone was watching didn't know how to respond to this victory. After all, it was something very odd. It wasn't every day that a powerful hero was turned into a magical girl. More magical girls appeared and they performed a final attack on a villain. In a part of Kamino with a large screen, many people had gathered watching the fight. None of them sure how to respond, mostly. Kirishima and Momo had managed to get to this location and breathed a sigh of relief when they are their fellow rescue teammates helping in the fight, though surprised at All Might's new status as a magical girl. Once the fight was done with, Kirishima was the only one cheering. After all, he had become desensitized to the whole magical girl thing going on. Slowly other people were cheering at the win. In UA, the teachers and Mitsuki were unsure how to react to such a fight. Welp, that happened. Said Mitsuki. Nizu took a sip of his tea. All Might will no longer have a time limit. Said Nizu. What? Asked Mitsuki. I'll explain later. Said Nizu, brushing off the woman. You're right. Said Vlad King. Nizu started to grin evilly. Vlad King was confused. However, Aizawa looked at Mizu and had a bad feeling about that grin. Vlad King did too. But Aizawa was the one who had an inkling on what the grin meant. Back in Kamino, all of the magical girls collapsed as their super mode was undone. Compete, which included their hairstyles going back to normal, followed quickly by their transformation being completely undone. Izuku saw this and sighed, figuring out whatever the super mode had drained them, like Toru had said. Izuku reverted to his animal form and sighed, knowing he didn't have to power them at the moment. Gran Torino had sighed, looking at the unconscious body of All for One. Many things were going to change from this, he just wasn't sure how just yet. That will be it for this part. I hope everyone enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and comment if you want part 53. If you want to hear more from me, subscribe. I hope to see you all in the next one.